Doing a VOD review of a silver-ish Zac jungler. So, first thing we do as jungle is we take a look at the matchups and think where we want to start by pathing. Strangely, the Warwick went mid, so Warwick Galio mid, Swain, Malzahar top. Oh, Gragas is already ganking bot. Interesting. Tristana, Senna versus Kai'Sa, Thresh, and a Gragas jungle. So, this lane is a waste of time. Malzahar has no follow-up until level 6, no burst damage, no CC, and mid is pretty gankable. Galio has good setup, but it's a short lane, so like right now it'd be pretty hard to gank. Once Galio's 2 or 3, that starts being more possible. And then bot lane is... both sides are pretty fragile, nobody has a lot of hit points, Thresh is not very tanky this early in the game, and Tristana has a button to go in. So even though Tristana Senna doesn't have a lot of CC, it still has a lot of potential to follow up if Zac provides a CC. So I would start top and path towards bottom, looking to abbreviate my pathing basically as soon as I hit 3, skipping camps to get to bottom faster. And while we're doing things, we always take a look at the map, so you wouldn't expect something to happen up here, but let's say these people were playing like they were, you know, Darius Riven, and they're trading really aggressively, and Swain's at a quarter health. Well, then maybe you go top after you take Wolves. So we check the farm. You know, Gragas took 1 camp, tried to gank, and then went back into his jungle. As Zac, you're not really good at counter jungling or invading. It's not like you go take his raptors and you wait in this bush, and when Gragas shows up you kill him. Like, you're not Graves, you're not Kindred. So I think the main observation here is Gragas is going to be behind on tempo. So Zac will hit level 3 first, Zac gets the first level 3 game. If Gragas tried to go mid right now, he'd be level 2, and you should win by 2v2 there. I think... So let's think of why a fight might happen mid, or why it might be a good idea to go. Mainly, Warwick is about half HP, Galio has a big HP advantage, and you know if Gragas were to come, you'd win the 2v2. If you ran all the way to bottom, I think there's a chance Gragas can take these 2 camps, and then be there, and be level 3 as well. Or he'd be like getting there soon. So basically, because of that failed gank from him, you want to start something as soon as possible. I think there's an argument to run this way, to come from the side, but that's also slower. Maybe if you had pulled the wolf out and decided that ahead of time, I think that would have been reasonable given Warwick's HP. This, I feel like, this is really just knowing your champion. You can hover over your E and it'll display the maximum range before you start casting it. Because I think if you land on Warwick there, you just kill him. And then just another little mechanical thing. You could... I'm not saying you should do this because Galio's feared. Like, I don't think you actually have the damage to kill Warwick right now. But you could have queued this minion and then flash auto, instead of trying to hit him with the initial Q. So I would keep an eye on mid now. Galio and Warwick have about the same amount of health. Where to bottom? Okay, so bot lane got chunked out. There's not really anything you need to do there. If you were to go bot and help them shove, it's kind of whatever. They're healthy enough and there's not enough gold for a back to do very much. Like, Persona buys a longsword, which, you know, it is better than not, but I don't think it's worth going out of your way to do.
First love.
You have a potion. Yeah, okay. So you should have popped your potion sooner. And picking up blobs is good. I wouldn't be chasing Gragas though. You, as Zac, you don't have the damage to kill anyone without any cooldowns. So you've just used EQW. You should be running back to pick these two blobs up instead of running forward. And if you flash there and get these blobs, I think you stay alive just a little bit longer, and like if you get another W off, that might have been enough to finish Warwick. Oh my god, that was a disaster. That was... should you have not done this at all? No. You don't have a lot of health is the big thing. I think the margins on this play are really close. And this is a fairly risky play. It's a 2v2, levels are the same. Like, no team has an advantage here, so it's effectively a coin flip. Maybe Warwick Gragas are a little stronger than you, so it's like a 40-60. I think there's a decent argument to just say, I don't take plays like this because I don't want to take the risk. And there's a decent argument to say, fuck that, I just want to fight, so I'm going to take this even if it is a little risky. And then we just, you know, I already talked about the mechanics of it. Playing for your cooldowns, playing for the healing, and then probably you end up killing Warwick before he dings 4. That was like the big turning point here of why he ended up being... like, why you don't kill him here, right? If he doesn't hit 4, then he definitely doesn't have the life to survive after you respawn. If you die a little later, blah blah blah. Okay, so we fast forward a little bit. And waiting for it to kind of go back to neutral. So Warwick's gonna reset, so now we take a look at the map and we say, what's the state of things and what should we do to account for that? Can I? No, I can't do that. Nice. So Warwick is huge. He picked up 2 kills and assist. And Gragas is decently strong. Galio is behind. Mal's is behind, but Mal's is going to pick up that wave. His roam actually didn't cost him that much because of him shoving the wave in. So the main thing is you need to be super careful about going mid. You and Galio do not have the damage to kill a fed Warwick at this point in the game. So I would be, and top is still ungankable because Mal's isn't 6 yet, so I would be favoring going straight to bot side looking for the play. So seeing that Thresh is dead, yeah, I would run straight here and cover them. And I would go this way. I would go through lane, and I would be playing these bushes. Because with Kai'Sa... Oh, that's... okay. Actually, you could have just walked up and jumped over the wall. I mean, your team got the kills without you, but at least you're being in the area, which is important. So your bot lane is pretty strong now. Tristana's a great carry, but they just recalled. I would immediately look to take Raptors and Hospitals and kind of not do anything else. Like, do not go mid unless Warwick is literally under the tower. You can kill him if he's under tower, but anything else is... That was kind of what I was expecting to happen. And this is like a bit of a game knowledge thing and a bit of a general league thing of like, try not to gank. Don't gank losing lanes unless you have some reason that you think it will work. Some specific thing. In this case, like, you're both tanks and Warwick is a sustained bruiser. And so you're just not going to kill him. If, for example, Galio was Talon, that exact play I think works. Even though he's a little behind, he has enough burst damage that the Warwick sustains. So and you might think like, well, what's the big deal with that play? So the main issue, because you're like, you know, bot lane's not on the map, I don't need to reset. The problem is you're not in place. Like, imagine if you're bot right now. Tristana's way stronger than Kai'Sa. Thresh, I'm pretty sure, just like... I mean, we'll look at his vision. Yeah, okay. Thresh has no idea. He just walks up, he just starts the fight randomly. If you are bot lane, you get this opportunity to start this amazing fight and continue to snowball Tristana and Senna. Instead, you go mid, provoke a fight that forces Galio out of lane, and now Warwick is hunting down. And you also. And what this does is it creates a window where you and Galio are both off the map, where Gragas can with high certainty gank bottom. And like I was just saying, you know, don't gank losing lanes. Well, the one of the big threats is the enemy jungler or someone else roaming to match. But in this case, Gragas knows with 100% certainty that you and Galio cannot be at this fight. And Kai'Sa Thresh isn't far enough behind that they don't win a 3v2. A lot of what I'm talking about is hypothetical. Clearly, Gragas chose to take Drake instead of ganking, which I think is a huge mistake. But I want you to be aware of the different thought processes. You know, Drake doesn't change the fact that Kai'Sa Thresh is still getting walloped in the spot lane. It kind of plays for this vague win condition sometime in the future. Whereas if he had just... If Kai'Sa Thresh just killed them, gets 2 plates, all of a sudden blue side has no winning lanes. Malzahar is even, red, and then mid, jungle, and bot are all behind, which makes it really hard to play. So, you should be bot again. There's no play mid right now. Galio still doesn't have the damage to kill Warwick. Warwick has some Merc Treads, making it even less likely that you're going to kill him. And your bot lane is huge. I think one of the main things that I'm seeing is like you're not taking into account the state of the map enough when you're making your decisions on where to go and what fights to be a part of. Like, the only point of strength you have is this bot lane, and you went as far away as possible from them. when I would much rather have just seen you walk to bot. Like, forget the Herald. You don't have a lot of pressure from Mal's. He's not like, it's not like you have Darius top who's gonna roam to the Herald and like do great things. Mal's just wants to clear the wave and farm for a while. And he can get some priority, but it's not like he's an amazing assist when it comes to that. And as a tank, as Zac, like, you're not... That's weird. That still says you have a movement speed debuff. Like, you don't beat Gragas 1v1 either. So if you think of, like, Swain Gragas versus Zac Malzahar, it sounds pretty miserable. You need to really catch them off guard, get a great Mal's ult before Swain can ult, you know, one-shot him sort of thing. Versus if you go bot, you just win. CC Kai'Sa, Tristana jumps in, you kill them, you take this tower, Tristana is huge, and you just follow her around, and keep starting fights wherever she is, and that's your win condition. You can see your bot lane is almost strong enough. Like, Senna's almost strong enough that she could have 1v2'd there. Yeah, so it takes 3 of you to kill Warwick, which I think is very telling. So I would run bot here and dive this Kai'Sa and kill this tower. They didn't try very hard to defend it, but like if you are jumping over the wall right here, CC Thresh, Q, hit the minion, Thresh is dead, take another tower, rotate mid, get this mid tower. You just see the difference in how easy it is to make plays around your bot lane versus your mid lane. Like you almost didn't have to do anything except provide like a body so that they could just walk on top of you, or they didn't have to worry about the threat of like a Gragas coming over the wall. I'm gonna jump forward some time. We're gonna see what. Taking mid, cool. I'd rather you play towards Tristana. She's a stronger carry than Senna this early, but either one I think is okay.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
So what I would do right now is ping. I'm not sure what Mal's. Whatever, it's fine. I would be pinging Senna and Tristana to come to him. Because you have such a strong, like your team's up 6k, so as a team you're winning quite a lot. But like Warwick is still beating Galio, Gragas is still ahead of you. So you want to make sure you have the right people at the front. In this case, Tristana's recalling bot, Senna's in base, Malzahar's in base. And you've started a 2v3 actually, with losing, like a losing 2v3, right? You're up, I mean you were up 5-ish thousand gold and you started a losing 2v3. And you can't, unfortunately this is a product of like you play Zac, you play Take Jungler, you're behind. You can't control what your allies are going to do. You know, would it have made more sense for Tristana and Senna to both just be mid, rotate to this Herald? Yeah, definitely. But that wasn't the reality of it. And so you have to look at the map and play around what people are actually doing, try and use pings to encourage them. And at the end of it, like, if they don't want to come help you at Herald, you just can't do it. And that can be really frustrating. But that's how it goes. see, when you have the strong members on your team, it's not even like
Team triple kill.
a close fight, really. Your team basically won a 3v4 without you, because all the, Tristana and Senna, who are both huge, win and provide damage. Anyway, I think I talked enough about pathing and prioritization.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Nice. I hope they found that helpful. Good luck.